In renaming the book, I was somewhat anticipating this moment right here, where we would be breathing somewhat of a sigh of relief to have moved past a president who was bent on keeping power permanently, it seemed. And yet we are under the leadership of someone who brought us the 94 crime bill in President Joe Biden. And with that, I was really thinking about something that has been a challenge for me. And that is, I'm an activist, I'm an organizer, but I'm often someone who actually shies away from controversy. But some of y'all were at the initial book launch, so you will remember that I said that in order to get to safety, we will have to take risks because the status quo is so defined by fear and domination that in order to get to safety, we will have to take risks. And so I wanted this book to really land solidly within this controversial topic of defunding the police and prisons. Because my call to you all is that we can and we must defund policing, punishment, and prisons. And I want to break that down into two parts. The first part is why we can do it, and the second part is why we must do it. On the first front, come on, y'all. We spend 53 cents of every federal dollar on the military. In California, we built 23 new prisons and just one new university from 1980 to now. The lion's share of resources in municipalities and cities across the country go to policing, first and foremost. And we know that the two things that have been recession-proof each time there's been a recession over the past 40 years have been policing and prisons. And so while education was getting cut and healthcare and housing and all of the things that really keep us safe, policing and prisons continued to grow and grow and grow. And so we can do this because the money is there. We spend, $1.2 trillion on incarceration alone per year. Those resources should be shifted towards actually ensuring that people have a roof over their head, have food on their table, can support their loved ones. So that's why we can do it. Why we must do it, I think, should be obvious post-COVID-19, because we talk about needing issues that need public health solutions. I never thought you would need to say that we need a public health solution to what is the quintessential public health problem, a global pandemic. But when you haven't paid for public health infrastructure, you can expect to fail when this global pandemic arrives. And that's what we've seen in this country, that we can't think about taking care of public safety if we haven't taken care of the public. And COVID-19 really laid that bare for everybody to see. So that's reason one why we must do it. And I think the second reason really just goes to the heart of democracy itself. This is something that I think is a problem for the Democratic Party, because they have been, it's been a bipartisan effort, right, to continue to funnel resources into punishment, policing, and prisons. And so now this same Democratic Party has to really respond to what they are going to do. And I know we're going to talk about that. But the larger issue is that the power and influence of policing and the punishment industries have grown. Each and every year, that social safety net was being cut, and punishment and prisons continue to get more and more resources. It meant their political power continued to grow as well. And so when all you do is really fund police, you shouldn't be responsible. When all you do is really fund police, you shouldn't be surprised then if you wind up with a police state. And that's what Donald Trump really inherited and tried to make his permanent power grab. But thankfully, we were able to move past that moment. And we have begun the work necessary to turn things around. And what I really wanted to name with the title shift is that it is going to require ongoing and continued work to advance a books not bars, jobs not jails, healthcare and housing not handcuffs agenda. And I know you know a little bit something about this, Rinku, being in Texas, where just recently in Austin, they took resources from actually defunding the police department and supporting housing for unsheltered communities. That's the kind of shift that we need to be seeing in cities and states across the country. And it's one of the things that gives me hope that despite all of the infrastructure, um, we've all of the work we've done in digging ourselves into this hole, that we have a real opportunity to get out of it. So I hope that helps to answer that question.